Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm quite good right now. Thank you.
Good. All right. So I want to make sure that we're on the same page because it's our first time back for a while.
Yes, sir.
Have you done your journal? Have you completed your journal?
My journal.
Yeah, the writing.
I was this week. I just did all the YouTube video told me to do it, and I was reading and having some questions.
Right. Remember, every week you're supposed to not only do the questions, but also complete the journal, 1 page. What did I learn and how can I use it in my teaching?
Okay.
That's done every week.
Okay, sir.
That's your teacher's journal. So every week you take the conversations that we talk about. So you would take the conversations from today for this
Okay.
week.
Yes.
You would take the videos that you watch and the chapters that you have read.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Right. So let's start with some of the how many of the videos did you watch?
From the YouTube.
Yep, the videos that I sent you, how many did you watch?
I watched the first one, which was reading and the aspect and conditions.
Okay. So
and then I read the book until mind maps.
Okay.
But
all right.
Still the photos were not opening. So I did not get that topic at all because the photos were not opening.
Well, that's the issue with your laptop or your tablet because they open. I verified that they open. How did you open them again?
I tried with Google and then I tried with downloading the zip escalator thing, but it was not working at all. So maybe I'll take my laptop to somebody to try it again for me.
Yeah, I verified that file is good and it works. So I'm not sure what's going on with your computer, but that file definitely works. Okay, you probably don't have the right program on your computer.
So I'll try again.
All right. All right. So what questions do you have for me?
So I just wanted to for you to like redo the mind maps for me because I did not understand it at all. The topic.
Well, let's not do the mind maps because you haven't seen a picture. So let's talk about something else until you fully can take the reading and guide it with the pictures.
Okay.
So let's talk about something else on any of the videos that you watch.
So the video that I watch, I will start with the reading part.
Okay.
As I teach, I saw like the reading part, the way you're explaining to prepare the student, everything, but I teach KG.
Okay.
Which it find it difficult like to prepare them how to read and to prepare them how to understand. Because when we do, now we are doing the CVC. We start with the A.
Start with what?
We start with the sound A, the CVC letter A.
Okay, are we talking about reading or are we talking about sounds?
I'm talking about reading because the reading comes with like 3 words. So what they do with the sound.
First, let's get this straight. There's a difference between, we got to define what reading is.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you're talking about students actually being able to pronounce the words.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That's not what we talk about here at the moment. We're not talking about phonology, or, we're not talking about those things right now. We're not talking about grammar. We're not talking about that. We're talking about comprehension.
Okay.
Okay. Then,
Okay.
yeah, being able to identify the words, that's extremely important.
Okay.
And it's extremely important to comprehension. But let's put that on hold a second and talk about the greater benefit. The greater benefit is that they're able to comprehend.
Okay. Okay.
Just because a student, so when we talk about reading class, we're not, yes, in kindergarten, they have to be able to identify words, know their sight words, all that stuff. Okay. And there's a science to teaching reading for young learners. That's not what we're talking about at the moment. Okay. And that's what we're talking about, is preparing students to understand different types of texts, even in the kindergarten. Okay. There's nothing magical that happens in the first or second or third grade. Reading and preparing students to read can start from infancy. Okay. Reading to students, getting them excited about reading, because reading is the most essential act that anyone can do in order to have some level of achievement and success in their life, is reading. Okay. And when we talk about reading, we're talking about comprehending what has been read, being able to identify different literary devices, understanding informational text from fictional text, understanding the main idea and getting the gist of what's going on. Okay. And in the kindergarten, it can be as simple as a listening activity that is going to promote reading in the future, especially if the young learners are still not able to pronounce the words and identify the words. So we begin to read to the young learners, and we ask them questions about what was read to them, and we show them the words so they can begin to be able to pronounce the words. Okay.
Okay.
But when we talk about reading, we have to identify for what purpose are we reading. Are we reading for the purpose of pronouncing words and learning words and building vocabulary? Are we reading for the purpose of understanding the main idea, understanding the details? Because there are people who can read words but not understand what they read. Okay. Yeah. Those two actions are mutually exclusive from one another. Okay.
Okay. So if you have a student that can read, for example, you give her words, can read but cannot understand the words, what aspect am I supposed to take? Like, how can I help her?
Well, the being able to read the words will come unless they have some type of challenge, unless they have some type of intellectual challenge or physical challenge, like they can't see, or they are intellectually challenged. The reading of the words will come. So even if you were not a reading teacher, you didn't know the first thing about teaching a child how to read pronounce words, simply by reading to a child, the child will begin to learn the words, even if you're not a trained teacher. It's just the consistency of reading. Hold on one second. No need to hold on, I had it in my pocket. So it's just the consistency of reading. Okay. So to answer your question, the most important aspect is for them to understand what they hear, and eventually, once they are able to identify words, what they are reading. Okay. And this is a big challenge, especially in where we are right now, because where we are traditionally does poorly on reading tests, on international reading tests, because the emphasis is not on understanding the gist of what is reading or what a learner has read. The emphasis is on pronunciation, right? Accent, and that's a big problem, because people are happy when their child is able to read out loud, and then no one takes it to the most important critical step, which is the thinking aspect of it. Okay. So what we're targeting, we want students to be able to identify, we want them to be able to identify text. Okay. We want them to be able to do those things. We want them to be able to sound words out. That's extremely important. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that that's not important. It's very important, especially at a young age. However, what we're talking about here is beginning to build young learners, all learners, higher order thinking skills. And the most efficient and effective way to do that is through reading. Okay.
Okay. Can I ask something out of test?
All right. What's your next question?
No, I want to ask something that I saw, but so I'm not teaching this kid, but the student in like grade 4. The students can read, but she doesn't know what she's reading. Like if you say you put the word cat, she can read a cat, but when you put a picture of a cat, she doesn't know that's a cat.
Right.
When you put, like, you tell her read this comprehension, she can read so well, but when coming to answer, like when you come to answer the question, you say you take from comprehension, putting the answers here, that's get a little bit confusing for them.
Right. So that's when we would engage the strategies that we talked about on the video.
Okay.
Okay. That's why those strategies are important. So all those strategies that we talked about on the video, quicks, rereading, all those strategies that we talked about, they will help her with her comprehension. Will help the learner with their comprehension. Okay. You had another question?
Sorry. About reading now, sir, I think now, because I was being confused about the whole thing, I was putting it like in KG, but now I understand.
All right. What's your next question?
So when I heard about the mind map when you say until I open it will not come out. And
Okay.
maintaining a comfortable learning atmosphere, that topic two.
Okay, what's your question?
So I saw it had a lot of activities and like the warm up and everything.
Okay.
Regarding that, when you come to warm up, like for us, we have like a 45-minute class, yes?
Okay.
So you put the warm up at the first of the lesson.
Yes.
What about somebody has a 95 or 1 hour and something? That's a long period for kids to sit down.
Right. So young learners should not be sitting even at a 45-minute block. All right.
Yeah.
Young learners, all learners need to move around. One of the fundamental flaws about traditional education is that we put young people in a rectangular box.
Okay.
We think that osmosis or spontaneous combustion is supposed to happen. And that's not the case. Okay.
Okay.
Classroom itself is an artificial learning environment. Okay. And what the teacher's job or the educator's job is to fight against all those negative things, stuffs that artificial learning environment does. Classroom is not the best place for people to learn. Okay, let's get that out of the way.
Okay.
Class not the best place for people to learn. Why? Because we learn best given hands-on learning in real time, learning what people call living classrooms. Okay.
Okay.
So the teacher's job, in essence, is to fight against those negatives of that artificial rectangle called the classroom. Okay.
Okay.
So what the warmer does, the warmer helps to fight against all the negative things that rectangle does, that classroom does. So the warmer primary job is to get the students out of survival mode. Remember, most of your students do not want to be in that classroom. When you were at their age, you would much rather be somewhere else, right? Playing video games, watching television, outside playing, sleep, right? The last thing you want to do is to be in a box or a rectangle, learning your ABCs or learning about history or learning about whatever. So it's the educator's job to make learning interesting and tapping into students' want, needs, and expectations regarding the subject matter. Okay. So we have to understand the psychology of the brain. Okay. There's a part of the brain called the amygdala. And the amygdala is primary concern with self-interest. So when you ask someone to do something for you, or someone asks you to do something for them, the amygdala always kicks in. Well, first, we have a part of the brain called the reticular activating system, the RAS. And the RAS is concerned with your safety. Is the information safe, or what's being asked safe? Because that's your brain's primary function, is safety. Okay. When your brain's primary function is to keep you alive, right? Given any circumstance. Okay. So first, the students want to know whether the information that you're giving them is safe. And if the students perceive the information as not being safe, it goes to the non-thinking part of the brain. And then that's when fight, flight, or freeze happen. Students will fight you, meaning not physically fight you, but they start talking in class. When the student talks in class, they're fighting with you. When the student's not paying attention, not following instructions, they're fighting with you passively. Or you have freeze, where the student maybe gets on their phone or goes to sleep or starts to daydream. Flight is when the student, can I go to the bathroom? Can I go to the bathroom? I need to go and see the principal. I need to call my mother. They're trying to get out of that artificial environment called the classroom. They don't want to be there. What the warmer does is say, hey, look, this information is safe and it's something for you. All right. So once the information is perceived as safe, it goes to the amygdala. Okay. And this is everything. Everything we do in life. It first goes to the RAS, the reticular activating system, and then it goes to the amygdala. The amygdala wants to know what's in it for me. Why should I learn this? Why is this information important to me? This information is not important to me. So the teacher's job is to say to the learners, hey, look, Mr. Amygdala, this information is important to you. You need this information because it's gonna help you out. So you should be interested in this bit of information. All right. So our job as educators is to convince amygdalas, every child's amygdala, that the information that we want to give is of interest to them. That is, number one, safe, not harmful, and number two, it's interesting. This is why you cannot have a school that is violent. No one can learn in a violent place. No one can learn in a chaotic environment. Schools have to be very organized, and they have to be very personalized. And they have to have a certain intent, and that intent has to communicate that it's serving the interests of the learners. And if schools don't do that, you won't have a lot of learning taking place. If the school is not organized, because organization brings safety, it brings comfort to the brain. Remember, the brain is a pattern-seeking device. Your brain loves patterns. That's why it enjoys doing puzzles. That's why, and video games are nothing more than a digital puzzle. All right, our brains enjoy challenges where organization will accomplish the ends to the means. Our brains love this. Our brains love challenge, because what we try to do with challenge is bring organization and calm to chaotic situations. However, our brains only can do that when it's in advanced mode. When it's in learning mode, brains don't like chaos. When it's in learning mode, when you have convinced the RAS that the information is safe, the only way you can do that is through organization. This is why routines is an element of a culture of thinking. You have to have routines. You can read Ron Richart's book, A Culture of Thinking. Okay? You have to have routines. Okay, you have to have order. And this is typically why kindergarten teachers throughout the world are effective, because most kindergarten teachers understand the value of order and having order to young learners. So something as simple as rearranging the classroom around can bring chaos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the learners are used to a certain routine and used to seeing the classroom set up a certain way. So if they're not expecting the classroom to be redesigned, and they come in the classroom and it's a different design, it will bring chaos. Now, the teacher may be able to, it may be simply, it might be easy to fix that level of confusion and chaos, but nevertheless, it still brings chaos. Because learners need to know, learners want to know, their brains want to know routines. And again, this is the case for most learners, unless again, they have some type of intellectual challenge. Okay, but even when learners have an intellectual challenge, we find that they need more organization. The organization is paramount to their success. And what the warmer does is the warmer says, hey, look, let's bring calm and organization, because remember, we live in a very chaotic world. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of stimuli that goes around us, goes on around. When you drive a car, it's very, very chaotic. There's people making left turns, there are people making right turns, the cars coming the other way, there's 3 lanes of traffic. That's a very chaotic thing. So our brains, thanks to the beauty of our creator, has given us this thing called the brain that works in organization, that bags organization. And the brain is so magnificent, so wonderful, that it could take a very chaotic situation and bring calm to it. And that's why we can drive efficiently and effectively, as long as we follow the rules of driving. We can drive pretty efficiently in a very chaotic situation. I mean, you look at the driving here, and it doubled the chaos, right? Because a lot of people don't follow the driving rules here.
Yeah.
Right? But you can still get safely to your destination because of your brain. Your brain is able to make to figure out the chaos. All right, mainly because driving is a challenge and driving is a puzzle from one destination to another. It's a puzzle. How do I get there? How do I solve these challenges? And your brain likes those challenges, because there's different iterations to the puzzle.
Yes.
And your brain likes it because there are rules to driving. So your brain takes the rules to drive and figure out whether it wants to follow the rules to get to the destination or not. Okay. The more efficiently the rules are enforced, the more organized the driving is, the more your brain enjoys driving even more. So like in the States where I'm from, we go on Sunday drives, right? Or Saturday morning drives, or even Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening drives. Because in the States, most places, there's laws, organization, and order to the driving, which makes the puzzle of driving or the challenge of driving fun. So what the warmer does is the warmer acknowledges that the world is chaotic. The warmer acknowledges that the young person may have been picked on before your class. The teacher before you may have yelled at them. That one of their friends might not have spoken to them, and that hurt their feelings, right? They might have lost their keys, or broken their phone, or messed up their favorite shoes. And they're not happy about that. Now they're sitting in your classroom. And what the warmer does, the warmer acknowledges that you have individuals in your classroom who have a challenge, who probably had some type of challenge before your lesson. And the warmer says, hey, look, I understand you had a challenge. Let's woosai. Let's calm down a bit. And let's focus on the objective at hand. And that's the importance of a warmer. You should never start a class without a warmer, because you don't know the chaos your learners have gone through during that day. And you can't assume, or you can't say, oh, this school is so safe, this school is so wonderful, everyone's happy here. No, even in a very safe situation, you don't know what that child is going through, what that learner is going through, what that person is going through 5 minutes before they entered your class or you entered their class. So the warmer gives pause, and it satisfies that RAS, that reticular activating system, and it satisfies the amygdala to say, hey, look, everything's safe here, everything's calm, and this is important to you. And that's what the warmer does. This is why the warmer must be safe. This is why the warmer must be easy. Right? We don't give challenging tasks during the warmers. Not during the warmer, we do it during the lesson, but not during the warmer. The warmer is not designed to be challenging. It is supposed to be easy, super easy, and more importantly, self-directed, meaning it allows the student to say, I know that. That's easy. See, I'm smart. So even if the learner didn't understand anything in your lesson that day, they got the warmer right. They got a victory. You see, they got a victory in the warmer. And that one little victory may be enough to motivate them intrinsically or extrinsically to fight another day, to become more interested in your class, in the lesson, in the subject. Okay.
Okay.
So the question, I didn't directly answer your question, so let me directly answer it. If you have a longer block of instruction, well, the warmer should be short. Let's say that, okay? Regardless of whether you have a 90-minute block of instruction or 45-minute, 50-minute block of instruction, the warmer should be short. Because if the warmer is not short, that means it's not easy, right?
Yeah.
The warmer should be something where the student looks at and says, man, I can knock this out in 2 or 3 minutes. This is easy because this is about me, right? This is about me. This is easy stuff, right? Because you want the students to say, oh, I know how to do, I know that, and positively start the class off on a positive note with everyone wanting to participate, because everyone wants to show and demonstrate that particular easy task, for lack of a better word. Okay.
Okay.
So the warmer must be easy. It should be no more than 2 to 3 minutes. So, you know, if it's fun, maybe 5 minutes, but it should be very short, because if it's long, that means it's too complicated, and that means there's a student in that classroom who's not going to understand the warmer. And then you don't have a successful warmer. Every student in the classroom should be able to answer the warmer, and should want to answer the warmer, because the warmer is personalized, it's fun, it's easy, it's engaging. Okay. So regardless of whether you have a 90-minute block or 45-minute block, 2 to 3 minutes on the warmer, because the warmer should be easy. All right.
All right.
Can you give me your next question?
I'm out of questions now.
You can't be out of questions. You're supposed to. How many questions are you supposed to have?
10 questions.
Yeah, that was like 3.
Because the other question are like the repeating of the same question. You have like explained everything I wanted to ask about.
the other videos, what other videos did you watch?
The aspect and conditions.
That's the grammar video.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
that's
gonna
for
have
the
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call you into my home and we're gonna do the grammar boot camp. We're gonna probably do 3 hours of just grammar boot camp so we can knock out that section.
yeah,
Yeah.
that one
Let's,
it was
let's hold off on aspects and conditions. Yeah.
yes. Okay.
So once you ask me more questions about reading, especially the young learners. What are some of the challenges you're having in your classroom regarding reading?
Mm, as you know, like most of my students, SKG in grade 1, most of them cannot read. So I'm having that thing of trying to make them like reading is fun, because most students here, they're like, English is hard. Teacher, I can't do it. I don't know how to
So,
do it.
okay, so English is hard. I don't know how to do it. That's with them. That's
Yeah.
fight, flight, freeze, right? That's their
Yeah.
amygdala. That's their amygdala telling you you're not making it interesting. This is not, there's nothing in it for me. There's nothing in it for me. That's their reticular activating system saying, this is not safe because this is hard and hard is not safe. So you have to find a way, and this is why planning is so important. You have to find a way to make it interesting.
Planning.
And so not focusing, not focusing as much on the pronunciation. No, I can't say that. Not directly focusing on the pronunciation in a way that is very sterile, very, okay, this is the I and the I before E, and the very kind of, this is a consonant and this is a vowel. Stay away from labeling when you're teaching sounds.
Okay.
They're not linguistic researchers. They're not linguistic professors. They're young people trying to learn the English language. Have fun with them. You say that reading is fun. Show them that reading is fun. Make them excited about wanting to learn how to read. And more importantly, the best way you can teach pronunciation is through modeling. You read. You get excited, right? If you guys are reading a story about a dinosaur, you come to class dressed like a dinosaur. You had them make dinosaurs. You had them color dinosaurs. This is a part of the pre-reading.
Okay.
Right? You have them chants. Chants are very important. Repeat after me. Do what I say what I say. Say it how I say it. Say it how you would say it. Character development. Get them to get interested in the realities of the world. Right? The realities of the world is, how do we deal with the chaos, the chaotic nature of the world? That's why we are educators. We're not in that classroom, whether it be kindergarten, middle school, elementary, high school, undergraduate, postgraduate. We're not in the classroom to teach young people anything, because we don't teach people anything. People teach themselves. What we do is we serve as signposts to say, this is important, and this is why you may want to look at this. We're facilitators, we're coaches. And often what we have to do is inspire people. Once we inspire them, then they will teach themselves.
Okay.
Right? So for young people, when we want to get them excited about reading, then we have to show that reading is exciting. Right? Does your school have a book fair scheduled for this term or this next semester? Is there a book fair?
No, I don't think so.
There's no book fair. So how are young people supposed to be excited about when you don't have a book fair? You know,
I think that is for the upper grades only.
it should not be for the upper grades. It could be for any grades. The kindergartners are people too. They have brains. They're smarter than what you would think they are. You know, they're smarter than you think they are. They understand and perceive the world. It's just we don't ask them to share their understandings and their perceptions of the world. And this is a very negative thing about class and schools. Schools do more harm than good because we try to put the people in this box in a literal, we put them in a literal rectangle, a literal box called the school, called the classroom. It's called the schoolhouse. And then our teachers teaching limitates them. We say, well, they're only young, they're only kindergartners. No, they're young, they are young humans who will one day be old humans. And as much they need stimuli, they need intellectual stimuli. You can't just say, okay, we'll wait until they get into the 10th grade and now we want to engage their higher order thinking. No, we engage their higher order thinking when they're in pre-K, before they even go to school. There's studies after studies after studies after studies after studies to say, engage your kids intellectually, even when they're in the womb. Play Mozart. Get to read to them. Have them do puzzles at a young age. But many people say, oh, no, they're just kids. Let them just play. Let them just play. Let them just play. And playing is good. Don't get me wrong. Young people need to know how to play appropriately, how to play in an organized manner. Because ultimately, our job as educators is to teach people, whether they're young or old, how to organize chaos. Because we live in a very chaotic world. That's our job. Our job is to help people solve the puzzle of life. Not teach them how to read, not teach them how to do math. That's a byproduct. That's secondary to the primary goal. Yes, young people need to know how to read. It's extremely important. All people need to know how to read. All people need to know some basic level of math. Why? Because these are skills, skills that help us solve and help us organize and help us make sense of the chaos of this world. The idea of the future is chaotic. And that's what we're doing for people. We're helping them prepare for the future. But think about it. The future is chaotic because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. So how do you prepare somebody for something and you don't know what that something is? We don't know what's going to happen 10 years from now, and we don't know what's going to happen 10 minutes from now, and some of us don't even know what's going to happen 10 seconds from now. And our job as educators is to prepare people for something that we don't know it is, what it's going to be, how it's going to look. Do you think last year Palestinians think they will be displaced on October the 21st, 2022? Did you think Palestinians knew that this was going to happen a year later?
No.
The world is chaotic. One minute you're in the mall, enjoying a cup of coffee, shopping. The next minute there's an earthquake. One minute you wake up, you say, I got all these things to do. You jump in your car, you get in a car accident. And it just destroys your whole day. You didn't know you were going to get in a car accident. You didn't know that you'll be in a hospital. You didn't know that all these other things were going to happen. Our job as educators is for when life happens, and life always happens, we supply people with intellectual skills that prepare them to make sense of a very chaotic life in a very chaotic world. Because we do not have a map to the future. Regardless of who you are. So we have this daunting task of preparing people. And so we erroneously put in front math. We erroneously put in front language art skills. We're erroneously put in front history, geography. That's secondary, that's tertiary to helping people organize chaos. And that's your primary goal. So don't say, oh, they're just kindergartners. No. Yes, the inputs and the stimuli that we give them have to be age appropriate. Yes. We're not going to ask a kindergartner to do postgraduate work, to write a literature review. No, we're not going to ask them to do that because they don't have the intellectual capacity to do that at the moment. But what we do is provide them the step forward to be able to do that, whether it be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or 20 years from now. We just don't halt and say, oh, they're in a kindergarten, oh, they're in elementary school, they can just be. And anybody who says, oh, they're just kids, you shouldn't think so deeply, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. And you're probably the reason why your children are not successful. And it's true. People don't like to hear it. You see families who the grandfather was a podiatrist. The father was an ophthalmologist. Now the son is a brain surgeon. Why? It may not be because that family forced the son into surgery. It's because of all the things they did that prepared that child for when he was a little youngster, to prepare him or her for success. And that's the difference. And that's why success breeds success and failure breeds failure. And it's only through the grace of God that people get out of that curse of having bad parents. And now when I say bad parents, I'm not saying that they're bad people. They could be great people. But a part of parenting is understanding the world is chaotic and putting your child along a line that it will most likely, probably, to give them the higher probability of success. Understanding that the world is chaotic, not waiting, carpe diem, seize the day now. So yes, we're not going to ask kindergartners to read War and Peace, but we are going to ask them to read Green Eggs and Ham. And we are going to ask them what they think about it and what they feel about it. And we are going to ask them to evaluate and synthesize at a very basic level. We're not going to just keep them on the low end of the Bloom's taxonomy. We're not going to just ask them to identify it. We're not going to just ask them to repeat or to duplicate. Yeah. We're going to move them up Bloom's taxonomy. We're going to move them up. And that's your job as an educator, is to take young people and try and find creative ways to move them up that taxonomy, to take them from being able to comprehend or being able to identify, recognize, to being able to evaluate, to being able to synthesize, to being able to dissect, to being able to analyze, to being able to break down. Because ultimately, all that we do as educators, all that we do is based on having people, learners, become lifelong learners, so they can be, one day have this weird thing, this very elusive skill called discernment. And discernment is being able to look at this chaotic world and make great inferences, great inferences, to make spot on inferences about a world and about a future that's extremely chaotic, extremely unpredictable. That's discernment. You can call that discernment wisdom. So keep that in mind when you're teaching reading. Reading is the skill that promotes that. It's reading. So what you do now can generate the next Einstein, the next Stephen Hawking. So don't just see it as, don't just look at it from the perspective of sounding words out. Okay. People can sound words out. That doesn't mean they can understand. That doesn't mean they understand the gist. And more importantly, that doesn't mean they're able to do higher order things like solve problems based on their understanding of the text.
Okay.
You have any other questions for me?
During the conversation, you come with the terminology Lexus, something like that.
Say that again.
When I was listening to the recordings, there was this terminology called Lexus.
Lexus, yes.
Yes. I think like it's meaning of words in chunks, but can you please explain it for me again?
So Lexus is, you said it, it's word chunks. It's when in any language we have lexis with word chunks, and what these word chunks do is they create context. Okay. They create context, and through the context we have understanding. So we the reason why we're able to make it in this chaotic world is because we're able to differentiate context. We can see the context or the contextual nature of a situation. And it's often through language, it's often through words that communicates that context, right? That we share that context. So the co-location of words, the cotext, so you have context and you have cotext. Cotext is the location of words that create the context. So how words are located, how they fall, the syntax of words creates the meaning, right? If we move words from one position to the other position, the meaning of that phrase or that sentence can change based on just taking a word out or moving a word or adding a word, putting a word in a different location. Okay, so lexis is how we perceive words in chunks. Okay. Because lexis is ultimately data. And then data becomes information once it has context and use. And that's what lexis really is about. Turning that data into context, and which makes it useful That's the difference between data and information. A lot of people think data is information. Data is not information. Data is just, in essence, Lexus. All right. No, well, let's back off. The data is just what I call ones and zeros that has no meaning, that has no value to me. Right? Doesn't have value to me. You give me some random fact about something, that's not information to me. If I don't care about it, if it's not satisfying my amygdala, then why? That's just data. I don't care about that. But once I can use that data to serve a purpose, then it becomes information. Okay.
Okay.
So when we talk about quicks, what we talked about the one video, we talked about quicks, right? Quicks is building the Lexus. Quicks is building Lexus. Yeah. Did I make that clear for you?
What?
Is that clear for you?
Oh, the Lexus?
Yeah.
Yes, now I got it. Now it's clear.
Any other questions?
Okay, going back to the same recording, there's a place we talk about dear, drop everything and read.
Uh-huh.
So, to be honest, like, I didn't get that part.
All right, drop everything, dear, drop everything and read. That's just a strategy that we use. It's an old school strategy, and that's to promote.
Morning, sir. Morning, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Good morning.
Oh, what happened?
How are you?
Hold on a second. Something
I'm
happened.
quite
Something-
good right now. Thank
Hold
you.
on a second. Something happened here. Something happened. What's going
All
on?
right.
What's happening? What's
So-
happening? Hold on a second.
I want to
Okay.
make sure that
What's happening?
we're on the same page because it's our first time back for a while.
Let's see.
Have you done your journal?
Okay, that was weird. All right. So, what was the saying? What did you ask me? I lost my train of thought.
About the drop everything and read.
Oh yeah, but yeah, drop everything and read. It's just a strategy that we use in schools that I learned when I first started teaching 23 years ago. And they're just you have to coordinate it. You can do it in your classroom, but it's
Okay.
even better when you do it school wide. And drop everything and read, meaning that everybody in the school stops everything that they're doing and read something for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, right? You could do it in your classroom. You could say, you can ring the bell, whatever the signal is for dear. And then the students take, hopefully you have an in-class library. The students stop what they're doing and read. That's all. It's a program to promote reading. The key is that everyone, whether in the class or the school or the grade level, sometimes people do it by grade. So fourth grade will do it there. The key is all participants, all stakeholders have to stop what they're doing and read. That's the key.
So that can
You can't have the teacher say dare and then the teacher's not reading. Everyone needs to read it, right? Everyone needs to model, even the principal of the school, the janitors, everyone needs to stop everything they're doing and read until otherwise told. So
okay, but when I want to do it in my class only, because I can't do it like the whole school can't do this. For example, if it's my class only, I'll just have to give them like 20 minutes and we drop everything and we read something. And then after that, we'll have like to ask them question of what they're reading, what they think it was, how was the story, or no? No? Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. See, now you're thinking like a teacher again. No. It's just is, so basically the preparation is you have an in-class library. The in-class library is developed by the students in your class. So they decide what books they want in their in-class library. Maybe you have a little input, but they should be mainly deciding what books they want in their classroom, right? And they can buy books from, that's why I asked you earlier, do you have a book fair, or did you guys have a book fair scheduled sometime soon? Because then they could buy the books that they want to read and put it in the in-class library. So when you do drop everything and read, they have books to read that they want to read, not books that you want them to read. Something, it doesn't have to be a book. It could be a magazine. It could be something on their tablet. The key is that they're reading. They're not playing games. They're not doing puzzles, that they're reading during that time. Okay. So when you say, when you ring the bell or whatever the stimuli is, they can go right to the in-class library, or they can pull out the book that they might already have in their book backpack or whatever. And, it's quiet time and it's reading. But that, again, you need to prepare for that and have planned for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right. It's important. Next week, I want 10 questions, 10 really
Okay.
good questions. All right.
Okay.
Because that's the way, instead of me sit up here and lecturing to you, it's better for me to answer the questions that you have regarding the reading and some of your experiences. That's a much better opportunity for you to satisfy your amygdala. Okay, instead of just sit up here, hear me ramble for minutes on end. So do you need new videos to watch? Or are you still watching some of the stuff I gave you?
I have like 3 remaining, so
They're pretty long, right?
yeah,
I
like
gave you
1 hour and a half.
Yeah, so knock those out, and then once you knock those out, I'll start sending you shorter ones, like 5
Okay.
minutes
Okay.
talking about. Okay, so knock those out first, because basically what you're doing is you're getting you're getting classes in those videos. Make sure you do your journal. All right.
Okay.
Handwritten complete page. What did I learn? And how can I use that in my teaching? Okay, in my instruction.
Okay.
How do I use that in the engagement with my learners? That's important. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right. So so continue to watch the videos, continue to read the chapters, give me my 10 questions for next Saturday. We'll try to meet at 8 o'clock every Saturday. All right.
Okay.
I want to knock this out. So we should be more than halfway finished by now. So we're going to do the grammar boot camp. And I'll let you know what day we'll do the grammar boot camp.
Okay.
Yep, that's where we are right now.
Okay.
Let's see what else. Let me do this for a second.